Now that we have learned to recognize key signatures and understand that key signatures are based off of the major scale and the whole steps and half steps that comprise the major scale, we're prepared to learn the methods that we use in order to sing the major scale or to sing any music that is based on a major key. We use the syllables of solfege in singing because singers don't have a keyboard built into them, and therefore, in order to approximate the same whole steps and half steps that the keyboard has, we use solfege, do, re, mi, fa, sol, la, ti, do, to approximate the same steps. Note that when we look at the keyboard again, that we have the half steps built in. Do, re, mi, fa. We've got the half steps between mi and fa and ti and do. Do, re, mi, fa, sol, la, ti, do. We use these syllables, which creates the situation where we have the half step between mi and fa and ti and do. Always the half step will be between mi and fa and ti and do. Remember from our earlier discussion that when we identified the key signature, if there are no sharps or flats in the key signature, we know that the key is C major. Note that in this example, the first note starting on middle C uses the syllable do. The name of the key will always be the same key that gets the syllable do in solfege. The order do, re, mi, fa, sol, la, ti, and do will always remain the same. So as long as we're in the key of C and do is C, then D will always be re, and E will always be mi, and F will always be fa, so on and so forth for the key of C. But let's see what happens when we change the key. Here we have a new key signature. If we review, we find the last sharp, we identify it, it's a G sharp. We go up a step to the next note up, which is A. Therefore, this is A major. Remember what we said before. The name of the major key will also have the syllable do. That means that all of the A's in this example will be do. Do, do. It follows the same pattern. That means that this note here will be re, and this note here will be mi, fa, sol, la, ti, and do, regardless of the octave. So if I sing it, sing along with me. Do, re, mi, fa, sol, la, ti, do. We can follow these syllables in any order. Sometimes they appear as a scale like we see them here. Sometimes they appear not in the scale order. But what's important is the relationship between the pitch and the syllable. The name of the key will always be do. The note right above it will always be re. The note right above re will always be mi. The note right above mi will always be fa, and so on and so forth. Let's apply this principle to a couple of other keys. Look at this key signature here. Remember that for the flats, we find the second to last flat, which will be this flat here, B flat. B flat will be our key, B flat major. That means that all of the B flats will be do. Same pattern applies, and we can sing it. Do, re, mi, fa, sol, la, ti, Very good. You notice I'm writing very fast, and there is a shortcut that we frequently use. Since all of the solfege syllables start with different beginning consonants, we can just use the letter names for the solfege and shortcut how we write out the key. Just to review, a single flat is always the key of F major, which means all of the F's will be do. Let's learn and understand then how this applies when the notes are not given to us, or if I give you notes, can you identify what solfege syllable they will be? Let's look at this key here. We have a single sharp. The single sharp is on F sharp. I go up a step to the next note, which is going to be G. Therefore, this note here, G, is the name of the key, and that note also will be called do. We will sing do on all of the G's. Here's G in a lower octave. If I write a melody can you sing that melody with me? Here's your starting pitch. Do, re, mi, re, do, ti, do. Did you follow the pattern? Because the name of the key is G, and the first note that was given was also G, it started on do, and we were able to sing that melody. Let's do a different melody. Sometimes we have melodies that do not go in order, that come in a far more chaotic or random pattern according to the needs of the melody. Pause the video and see if you can identify all of these notes for the solfege syllable that we will sing in the key of G major. Hopefully you identified this note here as do, and the one next to it is an E, which should have been la. The C below it should have been fa. The D above that should have been sol. Ti, re, fa, mi. Pause and compare your answers with my answers. Are there any difference between the two of them? If you still have questions about the relationship between the notes that are given and the solfege syllables that are given, look at the previous scales that we did earlier in the video and notice that as the scale goes up, all of the notes in that particular scale that share the same letter name are going to share the same solfege syllable. That means if I can write out the scale for any key, I should be able to sing a melody in that key. Let's do another melody together. Can you identify which solfege syllables will go with which notes? Pause the video, determine the name of the key, assign the name of the key to do, and figure out what the other solfege syllables should be. Did you correctly identify the key as E flat major? The second to last flat was E flat. Therefore, this is E flat major. That means that all of the E flats in the excerpt are going to be do. Did you figure out the other syllables? Sing the excerpt with me. Here's your starting pitch. Do, re, mi, do, mi, fa, sol. Very good. Let's do one more together. Let's do this one in the bass clef. If I give you the following notes, can you figure out which solfege syllables are to be sung? Pause the video and study the notes to determine which solfege syllables should be sung. Did you correctly identify the key as A flat major? You should have found the second to last flat and identified it as A flat, meaning that A flat major is do, or A flat is do. This note here is also do in the bass clef. Did you get the following solfege syllables? If you got something different than me, pause the video and study your work. Now that we've got the correct solfege syllables, let's sing the excerpt together. Do, ti, la, sol, fa, mi, re, do. Very good. You're well on your way to becoming an expert sight singer in solfege. Let's do one last example together. Sometimes in music, in fact frequently, a melody may not start on do. It may start on another solfege syllable. Can you identify the name of the key and assign the appropriate solfege syllable to each of these notes? Pause the video and mark and determine which solfege syllables need to go with each note. Did you correctly identify the key as D major? This last sharp is C sharp, and if we go up to the next letter, it's D, making this D major. That means that all of the D's in this excerpt are going to be do. That means that this particular excerpt does not start on do, but starts on mi. Here's do. If I know the scale, do, re, mi, I could start on the right starting pitch. Sing it with me. Mi, re, do, re, mi, mi, mi. In this pattern, we can learn to sing new music that we have not seen before, and using those patterns that we've established in the major scale, we can sing just about anything. Congratulations.